How's it going? Jack here. Just coming in hot, coming in cold, coming in looking dorky. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Just enjoying this new guitar here. Really having a fun time getting to know this beast. It's a parts caster. It looks older than it is. It's, you know, just came that way to me, but I don't mind a relic finish at all. Not when it's done nicely. I think this is pretty well done. I'm not really crazy about this. This part, no problem. The raw paint, like the raw wood there, maybe, but whatever. Really nice, Olympic white, kind of mid-60s with the large headstock. Old school, like a 66 or something like that. And really, really great fingerboard on it. It's a nice slab of Brazilian rosewood here. And it's been treating me real nice here. It's got a slightly thicker, I don't know, thicker with a little less string noise and stuff like that sound to the black Strat that's right there, to that one. Anyway, doing a little A-B comparison here and dialed up one of my presets that has like a lot of like trashy spring reverb on it. This, you know, it's like I don't normally do anything with that kind of a drip tone to it, that little boing boing, that kind of springy sound, that kind of thing. A little overdrive. Let's take it off. Put the bridge pickup all the way up. I don't really do a lot of that kind of sound, but it does sound pretty convincing. And so the other move to do is take the tone control way the hell down on the neck pickup and get that kind of woofy sound. And that's what we're hearing right in here, this little kind of a sharp 9 chord, and then bring in a little bit more high end here. was just having some fun, and I figured it's been a little while since I checked in with people, and I just wanted to kind of offer up some free time to folks. I've got class at noon, but I figured I would come on and maybe spend an hour. And it's been a little while since I've seen anybody, so just happy to be back and offer up any opportunities for you guys to, if you have questions about songs that you know that I would probably have some understanding of. Like if you ask me about some sort of bossa nova stuff, I'm going to have no answers for you. But you like the tone? I think it's kind of nice. It's not my typical faux Garcia thing. It's just more of a thicker stratty, or thick neck pickup strats out. I guess I'm revealing one of my other true loves is Jimi Hendrix. I just absolutely, I went into a very heavy Hendrix thing. This is actually not even a Marshall profile. This is a Strat into a deluxe reverb with just a little tube screamer in front of it. You just have to know how to set the tone control, the neck pickup, and have the right hand picking dynamics under control, really. And some of these chord shapes, like if you're not familiar with them, you're just never going to get the sound that I'm getting with like this kind of thing, where you put your thumb on the root, right, and you have the octave with your middle finger, index finger grabs the third, and then above it you press down your pinky and bar it on these two, so you get a flat 7 and a sharp 9, so you get that. So if you take the overdrive off, you get that. Or I think my loop has this one. And then just a G7. But if we heard. So by playing with a muted sound, you can experiment with a lot of different things. By establishing like your lead voice as a darker tone. Another good sharp 9 voicing right there. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that kind of stuff. I've got a question here. Any advice for coming out of the Music Never Stop jam? I agree. It is always a lumpy spot. So let's take a look at that. So I'm just attempting a simplified acoustic version, but I always mess up the timing going back. So if we're thinking about, you're talking about the part where we're in 3 over the B chord, right? Was that what you're thinking about? So that's the part where we would, let me ditch some of this, get back to this. So if we did, that's the part where we're going the 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, da, 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 da. ba ba ba. Right. So what you have to do is get ready to shift from being in 1 2 3 ta 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 1 2 3 4 right, and then back into 1 2 3 4. What is it? So you're going to need to have that boom. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 boom ba da ba ba ba. If you're just doing it with yourself, then you're not going to have any problem. The problem is everybody else feeling that. All right, so usually our drummer will do a nice little setup. Right, and that way, you know, you just make it kind of obvious. People like to know where they are in songs unless it's a deliberate, hey, we're out to lunch. So the whole point there is to come out of that spacey stuff into something that's more defined and predictable. At least that's my take on the thing. All right. Sorry, I don't really have the Grateful Dead sound set up. I guess it sounds a little like this sound is actually programmed in for that. 2 3 What is it? Yeah. That's a weird song. Interesting tune. Got some interesting chord changes. Do I ever play the earlier version of Minglewood? Yeah, I kind of love that. Something like that, right? I think it's like, so that'd be, you know, bridge picking more. That kind of thing. So if we do that, I would maybe pull that back or maybe do it on the middle pickup. That's going to have that kind of... so high. I was born in a desert, raised in a lion's den. That and that whole like. You know, that. is very, very weird. What do we got here? Let me see. Lone Piggy likes this stuff. Super Early Walking the Dog has some sick riffs too. I bet. I mean, all this. Garcia had these cute, kind of spunky little riffs. This says the guitar sounds dry and full. There's part of me that thinks it does sound a little better than that black one. I gotta say, like it's sounding a little bit more robust with no less top end. And I mean, I think it actually is just it has higher action than the black Strat, which is set up within an inch of its life. And I think it might be just letting the string kind of do its thing more. It also has a thicker neck. I don't know if anybody can see, but this is relatively, down here it's reasonable, but it starts to get kind of chubby right in here, and then it actually gets thinner again. So I only have myself to blame. I carved it. So I mean, anyway, some good. I mean, Old Dead is really fun. That whole like. Really bright, over bright, surfy era of the guitar. What is that? Very, very bright and jangly, and too much reverb. This is like. It's got that real, like, kind of that Dick Daly thing going on here, right? So anyway, I'm glad I could help out with the Music Never Stop thing. I'm just having some fun here. Obviously got the Kemper here programmed up. And I noticed they made a new one now that has like a better looper. Thinking all kinds of bad thoughts about maybe getting another Kemper so I can back up my current one into the new one and then effectively retire this or keep it around as a B rig in case the new one has problems or something like that. I already have a second Kemper for for my rhythm guitar player whenever he comes over. That way he doesn't have to bring an amp, and I have a backup if I need it, but I might get a second. Not backup, but more just make, phase in a new thing, because apparently it has some new stuff. So kind of digging the thought of that. And they're not that expensive. I mean, they're pretty expensive. Love that Cold Rain and Snow. Yeah, that old Dead has a certain visceral, I think it's just all the speed, all the crosstops that they were eating, So much reverb, but when you have that and you do the oh my God, awful. It's just so raw. just kind of sounds nasty. Love the Garcia stuff. I do. Do you do anything from Fire Up with Merle Saunders? Or another good one was Hooterall with Howard Wales. You know, I actually looked into, what's that tune? There's like one called like Merle's Tune and one called Keepers. There's a couple of tunes off of there. And obviously I do some Jerry Band stuff, but no, I don't really do that. You've loved my videos for a long time and they've helped me immensely. Hey, I'm so glad to hear that. That's Bob Salvage 4.0. I guess it's 4.0 or maybe it's 40. I'm curious if there's any tricks other than sheer persistence to getting the rhythmic aspects of Cumberland Chug down. You know, yeah, I know. Yeah, you know, the truth is, you know, if you play a little bluegrass, you'll learn to get that kind of you know. So this is kind of what you need to have going on, and then you can get that. So if you can get that going, boom, check. Let me turn off that stupid reverb, please. Boom, check. Boom, down, up, down, 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 down. Boom, down, down. Boom, dooba-doo-dum, dum. That's what I'm doing, but now even faster, right? I'm just getting a lot of that kind of stuff. And just getting that, the chop, the snare drum, boom. I can't stay much longer, Melinda. So much of their music is dialed into the right hand doing what it's supposed to do. Like all those little Garcia tunes where you're hearing like. That, or, you know, if you're. Like, it's all that boom, chicka bat, chicka boom, chicka bat, chicka. You know, so really work on your right hand being a steady, kind of like a drummer almost. Am I aware that the chords are slightly different on the later Death Don't Have? Yeah, the Hampton like 89 ones have some more chords in it. I kind of like a little of both. You know, I don't really. There's elements of the Hampton one that it kind of minimizes the intimacy and the like the kind of gravity of the first one. The Live Dead stuff, which is clearly where I'm aesthetically a little bit more aligned with the older version, but you can't deny how in particular there's a couple of those 89s where Garcia steps on the super fuzz and like all that super fuzzy sound that he has with all the delay just all over it and everybody goes nuts. That's really pretty impressive. And so while I kind of jokingly refer to that as the frat boy stadium rock versions of the song, there are some elements of those Death Don't Have No Mercies that are really powerful. It's just don't mistake power for like depth. There's a difference, you know. I think there's greater depth and resonance in the older like confessional style, and I also don't like it when all three guys sing. I'd rather it just be one one voice. I definitely prefer just, even though I think Garcia sings better as an older person than he did when he was super young, like in 68 or 69. I can't read. I need glasses to read this writing. It's so small. Caution, children. I get old. You get old. So let's see what this says here. Love the Garcia stuff. Hooterall. I've loved my videos. Cumberland Chug. Okay, did that. Are you aware that the chords are slightly different? Yes, I am. And then I'm not sure what you said exactly, but okay. Okay, nice. That makes sense. I do need to take a step back so I can speed up. Yes, you do. My raw noodles for dancing in the street, I will just listen to for sheer enjoyment. That's so fun. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's an interesting video and an interesting tune. It's very hard to come up with that much, what I would call material over one chord. Jack, Marty L here. Hey, how's it going, dude? Just taking it all in. Yeah, Marty was a student of mine. And then kind of lost track of him when I went behind the paywall with the school thing and stopped doing the private lessons. So former private student checking in now. Hey man, don't be afraid to say hi. You're always once you're a member for life as far as I'm concerned, Marty. Anyway, just enjoying the look of and the feel of the new guitar, and it's nice and light. I was comparing it to that new Ibanez that I've been playing a lot, and man, the Ibanez, it has its place. It's kind of weird to say. Like, I kind of, as a guitar player, I like the sound of like the real single coil pickups a little bit more than the Ibanez on its own, but what the Ibanez has that this doesn't have is like there's like a perceived depth, like loss in the upper mids that's like really present with the Strat, especially in this middle coil. And while that sounds really good for the kind of Europe 72 sound, it doesn't work so great for when we're trying to do the, Mission in the Rain and those kinds of tunes, or even things that started as late as, like once Tiger comes into the picture, the guitar sound really does need those pickups, those DiMarzio pickups. They really sound the part. But yeah, just having a really good time lately, working with a couple of I have a new project that I'm working up. And obviously been stressing about being like a working stiff and working with the schoolers, which has turned out to be a little more work than I thought it was going to be, but still a really rewarding experience. There's like I think we have 89 or some 80, I don't know, almost 90 people there at the subscription level and doing their thing. I think we've just done. We just did Mama Tried, so we were doing all sorts of phony pedal steel stuff and also learning that whole... Just getting a lot of country chops together with them, and guess we're gearing up to we're going to be doing some acoustic work. We're looking at Reckoning at the end of the month. We'll be transitioning to an acoustic thing, but we're doing we're in the cowboy tunes now, so we'll be doing anyway, looking forward to doing a little Mexicali and me and Bobby McGee and all that stuff off of Skull and Roses and Ace and stuff like that. We've been doing that. Am I doing any videos of my band that we can watch? Yeah, sure. You should be able to. If you just look up Knock 'em Dead, you can see at the bitter end. There's one. Scott Dara has a couple of them. So I think his name is Darragh. I don't really publicize my band through my channel too much. I just kind of talk about it in an offhand way. But yeah, I mean, I'll occasionally when we have local gigs, I'll put up a little thing, send it out to the subscribers. But that's about all the spamming I do. I don't have like my band's film. I don't really pursue that yet. The truth is, I've very rarely been pleased with what we get. Like there's this. It's always a good show, but I look back on them like, ugh, boo boo there, boo boo there, boo boo there. New York is just not a friendly place for developing original music. There's no way to get. It's really hard to get a residency, and the band, I'm fussy. I'm really fussy, and so if we don't get a lot of rehearsal time, the background vocals get a little edgy, and kind of just being a bit of a Goldilocks bitch about the whole thing, I guess. But it's still super fun, and that hasn't stopped me from starting a new thing. So you can, if you look up there, you'll find stuff. Knock 'em Dead EM, knock 'EM, and I think we're playing at the bitter end in a lot of them. And there's a couple where there's Knock 'em Dead playing at what's it called? That's a pretty good set with our old guitar player. There's two of them playing at the what the hell's it called? Hill Country Live is what it's called. So yeah, I mean the real guys here in town that are doing it, Shakedown City's fucking awesome. Garen and I are, kind of guitar nerds. He sat in with my band once over the summer and brought his keyboard player, and they're really excellent musicians and dynamite fellas. And they're all over the place. I really do like them. Hopefully they'll make a play for a more national perspective for the next year or so. They're still young and really got a lot of juice. I love that band. All right. Anyway, there's also Stranger Stopping Strangers has that killer keyboard player, Martin Schmidt. He's amazing. I love him. And then there's the ever ebullient Sarah Elaz, who is just an amazing female bass player that just brings so much energy to the stage. She's a light. It's a beautiful thing to like hang out in front of her and watch her bounce around on the stage and have a great time. I got to sit in with her with a band called High Time over the summer, I think, and sat in with them. They were missing a couple of cats, and so she and I joined for a gig, and I got to know her a little bit. She's just dynamite player and really a total sweetheart. So anyway. But most of the best things that I've done aren't like recorded on video or publicized. But still very meaningful memories for sure. So thank you for asking, though, Aiden. I appreciate that. So yeah, so the springy reverb, it's kind of weird. I'm not used to it. Shakedown City's awesome. That's so cool. You're going to go see them play. You're going to have a great time. In particular, Garen, their guitar player, is just fucking off the chain great. Awesome. It's dynamite singer too. He's really fun. Really fun. He's both reverential. I do like the fact that he sings from himself, but makes all the important choices that kind of show that he loves the music. And he's got just a great spirit when he plays. And really energetic and spectacularly involved emotionally and physically. Like he's a dynamite performer. If you've never seen them, have you ever seen them before, Aiden? They're gonna knock your socks off. And their Bobby guy is taken to wearing shorts lately on stage, so it's particularly on brand. So I mean, I don't think they're doing that. Maybe they are. Maybe they're doing that as a nod to him. But too much reverb, though, right? Maybe just the wrong kind of reverb. That's just so much. First time? Oh, you're in for a treat, dude. They're great. And they do like dream sets. They do things that just never happened, but should have happened or could have happened. And they play a huge smattering of tunes. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to say it. I think they're the New York equivalent of, like, at quality level of Grateful Shred. Like, they're really good band. They're really good. You know, I still kind of prefer the aesthetic of Grateful Shred more, especially the older versions of Grateful Shred, where they had the two guys from Apache singing, those two guys, Clay and I forget the other cat's name, but the lefty guy that plays upside down. You know, there's some footage of them playing that really still knocks me out. Especially they had this drummer that used to sit in with them. I would love to tell my drummer to play like that sometimes. He's particularly groovy. It's super groovalicious. So if you are in a band and you have questions about songs that you're playing and stuff like that, I'm happy to answer. And if you're just a home player, that's fine too. You know, we'll be doing, like I said, we'll be studying quite a bit of stuff over the next little bit here, doing the cowboy tunes. I guess we'll be doing El Paso as well. And what the hell? So there's El Paso, Mama Tried. We already, well, I guess Me and My Uncle counts. Me and Bobby McGee, like that kind of thing. So we'll probably be doing those four and then kick into the Reckoning, like all acoustic stuff, which will be fun. It'll give me a chance to learn some of that stuff a little bit better. Anyway, if you don't know the tricks of the Garcia tradecraft, the most important one is those moves right there, where you bend up from underneath the one note. Yeah, same note. If you can get that together, you're that plus a little mix of your major pentatonic and major scales. Add that flat 3 to both of them. melody stuff, all right? And just learning how to get around on the guitar, obviously, is hugely important there. What do I see here? Oh, this is being held for review. Tips for approaching the jam section of playing in the band. Well, it depends on, are you handling it in the minor key? Because if you're doing that, let's look at what do I have here? Ah, that's where I started. That's that kind of Hendrixy thing. So let's see if I go here. Give me a minute, guys. Let's see about that. Okay, if I come back here and we do the... what the hell would I want to do? Okay, so playing in the band, we've got that that kind of thing, right? So that's going to have a different time signature. That's in 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's why you always hear it counted out. 7, 8, 9, 10. You know? So if we did... to hear that. Then you add the flat 7. So that's instead of all right, but then ultimately it'll go start doing this minor stuff. When you get there, you're going to have to think about how to handle that, right? So usually the way I try to teach this is, at that point we're playing D minor, right? And start from a D minor blues sound. And then, so that would make you have this. And then realize that you can add the 9. And then last but not least, you can add the 6. Thus giving you these 3 strings in a row, symmetrically the same, the G, B, and E strings. So when you start doing sequences down through that scale, you end up with some really interesting tensions. And the fact that it's an odd meter just means you're going to have to kind of think a little bit. So that's the first tip I would give you if you're interested in how to get that out sound during, okay? All right, so that would be my first start, okay? The second thing to see is the same thing is happening on the D, G, and B strings. So rather than seeing the symmetrical pattern like this, I want you to see it here. And all that's going to lead to another sound. Same thing. Alright, you get a good wah-wah and then you're really in business, okay? But don't forget, it's D minor. Add the flat 5 and then play Dorian. Flat 5, Dorian. So that gives you these kinds of sounds. And occasionally you can add that major 7 in there to give it a little bit of that. right? So that's all going to happen back here too. Sorry, that wouldn't have been it. There. Right. Now the other sound that you can access is not just D minor, but if you play A minor pentatonic, you end up playing the flat 7 of the D minor sound, the 5, it's suspended 4, it's 9, it's root, it's flat 7. So okay, and so this is going to yield that kind of more Coltrane thing where you play the minor 5 of the chord that you are playing over a minor jam. It's pentatonic. Now the last thing you can do is let's turn that off for a second. I think everybody understands that we're working with a system that has, you know, a bunch of what we would call accidentals, sharps and flats and stuff like that. But at the core of the jam is the D minor pentatonic sound. Okay, so that's going to be 1 flat 3, 4 5 flat 7. So the way chords are built out of the major scale is that we play the first note in the scale, the third note in the scale, and the fifth note in the scale. So they're called the 1, 3, and the 5, right? But we're working with a 7-note scale. So if you do the same structure over a pentatonic chord or sound, right, like this, then if you would choose the first note in the pentatonic scale, the third note in the pentatonic scale, and the fifth note in the pentatonic scale, you end up with a suspended chord like this. So it sounds like this. Okay? And then if we go up the scale, right, we would start hearing. All right? Now that's not to say that we can't add in so now we're starting to get some of these sounds. All right, so you can start playing those chords. There, 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 there. So if you arpeggiate them, you end up with these stacked fourths. So if you take all those ingredients, the stacked fourths arpeggiated, the stacked fourth chords, your minor pentatonic stuff, and then adding the flat 5 to that, plus the Dorian notes, you end up with a pretty sizable grab bag of effects that you can get at. The last but not least thing you can do is alter your tone, maybe to have some sort of, you know, kind of more spooky sound underneath it. Okay, you get kind of outside with it. So by doing those kinds of note selections, but with a tonal selection that's a little out to lunch, you know, maybe you can hit those lofty peaks that happen during those big psychedelic. You know, the wah-wah is really helpful for just filtering and kind of doing that stuff. So I'm hoping that you, pardon me, are appreciating the, you know. No, I hope that made sense to you. Not appreciating. I don't get the sensation that people aren't appreciating what I do. Anyway, what do I see? Tips for approaching the jam section and playing in the band. So that was for you. All right. Next, are the lessons in school live or recorded? Both. So the schedule is that all day Wednesday from 12 to 6 I teach live. So in 2 hour chunks. So Spencer, are you there still? Otherwise I won't. You're very welcome, Reed. Reed McGraw says, thanks so much. I assume, yeah, so that was you asking about the approaching the jam section for playing. All right. Yeah, don't be afraid to kind of nurse a note like, and then sweep through the wah-wah. If you don't have a wah-wah pedal because you're dealing with like an 80s jerry rig, you're kind of at a disadvantage when it comes to that. He ended up doing like octaver and lots of delay and stuff like that during the playing in the bands that I saw when I was a kid. I never saw a 70s show. So, but those are definitely my preference. I like the, 72 to 74, like playing in the band. Let's talk a little bit though. Hold on, we'll talk. Oh, go on camera. What the hell? All right, so the question is, are they live or pre-recorded? So the way school is set up, thank you for asking, by the way, because I think it's a source of some confusion. The whole idea, the whole premise for the program over there at school is that you're not just learning Grateful Dead songs, which you are. It's definitely like centered around that. But we're also focusing on just general musicality. So we have a lick of the week that's tethered to a song. So like last week's was what did we say? It was the opening lick from Skull and Roses that played Mama Tried. So it's that that thing, right? So you get that. Right, so we teach that, right, in isolation, all right? And then also teaching just the general boom, boom, chicka style of rhythm that's happening. Like how to handle your right hand for rhythm guitar stuff. So that hopefully is enough for either somebody who's advanced to enjoy the subtleties or somebody who's a beginner level to kind of approach those things. It's not that long or that fast. There's a couple little speedy pull-offs and things like that in the lead. And at the very worst, if they're really a beginner or a true super novice or something like that, then they've got a rhythmic thing to study, which is where they should be anyway, frankly. I'm not trying to cast anybody down. I'm just saying I'm a firm believer that it's better to have the rhythm guitar stuff under control before you start, trying to solo. So that would be on Monday. I have to have that up and posted on the site by Monday, 9 a.m. That said, I usually have it up on Saturday. So I try to get my work done early so the students can get on it early because the week takes off rather quickly if I wait. I feel like they don't get that much time with the new song, but they do get to wrap up the last song. That said, so usually Saturday or Sunday, the new stuff hits, it drops or whatever you want to call it, right? And so the lick of the week, the LOTW, comes out, and it's usually a shorter pre-recorded lesson, just kind of like my old Snax lessons or something like that, where I teach very specifically exactly what the hell you're supposed to do, all right? And then shortly after that, I will make another one called the Song of the Week, which actually shows it in a broader context and is more akin to generally like anywhere between, depending on how complex the song is, 25 to maybe 2 hours, that walks through every part that I know. Everything I know on the song is documented in one spot, including solos and soloing strategies and stuff like that. I usually say that for the end, and bulk of the beginning is about the Bobby part that I know, whatever I know of the Bobby part, and the Garcia approach lines, like how to approach the Garcia stuff. And so that can take anywhere from, like I said, 20 minutes on some songs to 2 hours, right? So, and that's pre-recorded, and that's released on Tuesday, or has to be live by Tuesday. My commitment to the project is that it's there by Tuesday. That said, I usually get my work done. Again, for that, I'll usually do that right after I do the lick of the week. So usually the lick of the week and the song of the week are live and accessible well ahead of schedule. So that gives people they get usually Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to work on that stuff and submit homework to me. And then I see them in class on Wednesday from 12 to 6. I'm teaching live in 2-hour chunks, generally trifurcated, like kind of split up to accommodate beginners for the first 2 hours, intermediate for the middle 2 hours, and advanced. But all players of all progress levels tune in all day long. And sometimes they come and go. I have to take off. I got to take a work call. They come back. Then hey, what did I miss? Whatever. The truth is, it doesn't matter what they miss because it's all being recorded. And that's probably the best thing about it is it's being recorded, and you can slow down anything that I play or do. And obviously, you have my ear. You can just text me right away if you like something and you want a further explanation on it or something like that. So there's like a lot of submissions of homework that get a lot of not criticism, but like review, right? I try to guide and review. I mean, that is literally what criticism can be. But I don't mean it like I wag my finger at anybody. I just try to guide them I try to teach them. And so because we're not in the same room, I can't like put my hand on the fingerboard and be like, that's the note you need to hear. Play. I just describe it in writing. And if need be, I'll make a little video if they need it or not, but whatever. And then there's a review of the teaching day on today. That's what I have in 15 minutes. I have my office hours for the school, which is 2 hours of ask me anything you want. But generally speaking, I want to talk about the song of the week and make sure that there's no issues, so that way we can close the books on it and open up a new thing. And even if there are some lingering progress issues that people are having, the idea is that don't worry, whatever you're missing, you'll pick up elements of, because we're playing a stylistically consistent body of work, that the techniques and things like that, they're largely repeated, just in different format, depending on what the song is. So if you don't understand how to get the Bob Weir little thing from one thing, you might pick it up over the next, right? Because it's the same kind of strategy generally. So on Thursday, that's going to be that's today. And then in addition to that, there are live classes on Monday and Tuesday afternoons from 4 to 6. Those aren't included in the school schedule. Those are like the private master classes that I offer for like a Jerry Garcia deep dive course. Mondays and Tuesdays, 16 of them, right? So it's 8 weeks of deep dive stuff, which you can sign up for even if you're not a member of school. I'll have to figure it out somehow. Most of the times that's something that, and then for the last month or so, I did a Bob Weir masterclass as well on Thursday afternoons. So today I have the Bob Weir masterclass wrap-up session, where we will go over all the songs that we did on the course, and that's a 2-hour class generally. And I also offer, oddly enough, I'm also in between those two sessions. I also am booked out for another service that I offer through the school, which is like if people have tonal like issues, like they want to know how to set up the pedal board or whatever, that kind of thing. So we call it like the rig room, and you can like a consultation fee basically. That's not something that most people take advantage of, but that's fine. I just want to offer that up if somebody wants personal time. It's there, like that's a one-on-one thing. And so those are the 3 things that are currently being offered that have live and evolving content. Obviously, everybody has access to everything they've already paid for in the school library, which at this point I think is up to 250 submissions. So there's like a lot of content. Like every week I would say there's roughly anywhere between 6 and 8 hours of content, on a particular song. So imagine if I was talking to you and everybody else that's equally as interested as I am in this thing for 6 or 8 hours about Mama Tried. Lots of playing examples, lots of like Q&A, like live in the moment. If there's people, sometimes there's like 8 people or 10 people in the class, and people raise their hand or they just come off mute and they go, "Hey Jack, I want to ask you a question. How did you play that last little thing?" or whatever. And there it is, explained and recorded, and you can slow it down. It's pretty nice. the big surprise for me isn't that a lot of people enjoy it. The big surprise is how nice everybody is on the platform. There's all just every. I mean, granted, it's a sausage party. It's all guys. I haven't no female. I don't know. I don't know what I've done to alienate the fairer sex, but the guys are behaving like absolute gentlemen. So, and there's a lot of back and forth, like, hey, did you see this clip? Lots of that. Like, we're sharing, elements of Grateful Dead stuff that we're interested in, but not just that. Like other interviews and things, like Fretboard Journal posted a thing about blah blah blah, or Ursay's guitars are going up for auction, that kind of thing. So there's like a message board, and there's like a nice community now. There's like a bunch of international, like there's a couple of people in Scotland, a couple of people. There's one guy in Alaska. There's a bunch of people all through the continental United States. There's a dude that's in Thailand at the moment, or I think he's heading to Japan. He's traveling and still attending school, so he kind of comes in early. Well, for him, odd hours and stuff like that. So hopefully, hopefully that's what. There's no new. By the way, it's rolling admissions, and anybody can join at any time. And you're not. I mean, granted, you weren't present for some of the songs that were already taught. Big deal. There's it's like shark teeth. There's just so many great songs. There's 400 fucking songs in the repertoire. We're not going to make it through all of them. We're going to ultimately have to circle back around and say, hey, you joined and you want to understand, the ability to have like bespoke interaction with me, where you're personally interacting with me, finding out about, hey, how do I do this? Particular songs. Sure. I'd say that I would say that the canon could I could probably revisit something in the next 9 months or something like that. So I mean, we've only been doing this since September. We started out with like 50 members, and now there's 90. So it's been a steady increase of joy. There's been some people that decided it wasn't for them, which I totally respect. The truth is, it's pretty intense. There's a lot of time and energy devoted towards my guitar playing, and I'm inviting you in to see how somebody who's a hard worker in this craft approaches this music. So you and I are evolving along. If you're a student, you and I would be evolving right alongside each other, and I'll treat you as a peer where we are equal, and I'll share with you the expertise that I have where you have gaps, in your knowledge, and that's really just the way it is. I'd never thought it would be as great as it is, but it's been really fun. I'm super excited by it. All right. Now let's see. Does the stacked fourths idea worked over any Dorian jam? Would that work over a Mixo jam? You can, okay, but generally speaking, that's not. Just because you can do it doesn't mean it sounds like the Grateful Dead. All right, that's an idea that is used in that and also occasionally in like the really outside A minor jam in Slipknot, and also the other one. That those three songs have big long minor jams that get that kind of suspended sound happening from Bob Weir, and pretty amazing. A fellow single drummer era guy, abso-fucking-lutely. That's my mean cover, my mean project name that I always hint at jokingly to the people that I'm working with. I say, we should call the band One Drummer, No Donna. But that's nasty, I know. You're late to chat. When is new enrollment? So Mr. Drakenators is asking about, so what I already said. It is rolling admission, if that's what if you're asking about. And I try to keep it rolling in a way that, progressing in a way that's exciting. So like, we're doing this, we're doing that, like little tiny themes. So there'll be like little blocks of stuff. So we're doing cowboy songs, and then we're doing Reckoning, and then we'll probably do some stuff off of American Beauty. We already did a bunch of acoustic stuff and a bunch of stuff off Europe 72. I got to get everybody educated a little bit more before we bust out some of the Blues for Allah stuff, which is where things kind of get kind of crazy and jazzy. But we'll definitely tackle Help and Slip and Franklin's and all that stuff soon. So it's really, really been a lot of fun talking about that. And like I said, there's players from all levels of experience. There's some people that are just kind of getting into it, and they just want to have a community and like a guide, somebody to help set them up and get them pointed in the right direction. And then there are guys that have been suffering like, like kind of mediocre, no progress for like 20, 30 years, and they're just like, enough. What's the thing that's going to take to knock this thing into the next thing? And the truth is hard work, and so a lot of times people need someone to lead them through that process, and I'm fine with doing that. That's what I've always done is kind of guide people. I've always been a little bit of a professorial kind of energy, so it works out nicely, I think. So listen, guys, I don't want to be late to class. I've got 6 minutes to take a piss and get set up. So I'm going to sign off and say, if you have any other questions, obviously there's a link in the description thing underneath this live broadcasty thing where you can find out more about school if you want, or just sign up. It's not cheap, it's $100 a month, or you can say, I think you can get it down to $75 a month if you sign up for the year. But relative to what you're getting at other subscribe things that are based around, like I think there's a couple of other guys that are offering subscription-based stuff for Grateful Dead stuff. They're just not the same level. I'm not trying to knock them. It's not the same product. They're not all cars are the same. Yes, plenty of cars, but to call like a lithium battery scooter and a Ferrari the same thing is just ridiculous. It's just not the same thing. So if you're super strapped for cash, I totally understand it not being your thing, and that's why there's 400 free lessons, and I keep trying to do the live stuff. I do need to make money. I do need to live, but on the same token, I also love sharing this music. So I hope you'll understand that two things could be true at once. I hope you're big enough people to understand that, or mature enough to understand that I have children and wife and a house and dreams of my own. So doing what I got to do to satisfy all that, and at the same time trying to be a good and responsible member of our community and share the love, share the music. So all right, I'm gonna sign off, and thank you for asking the question. I'm sorry, I don't mean to generally. I try not to spam too much on these kinds of live broadcasts, but somebody asked, so I figured I'd share. All right, take care, and I'll see you guys soon, I hope. All right, cheers, whether here or at school. Cheers.